Not too long ago, Dragon Ball Super aired its final dubbed episode, with the original Japanese version of the series wrapping up a year earlier. Fans got more of the franchise with the release of Dragon Ball Super Broly, which continued the series and set up some potential future stories. So where does the franchise go from here? What can fans expect from a possible return of Dragon Ball Super, or a new film? There are a few ways that Dragon Ball can return, most of which involve adapting supplementary franchise material. Though there has yet to be a confirmation of Dragon Ball's anime continuation, we have no doubt that more is on the way, so we decided to theorize on what's next for the franchise. Before we get into the details, let's look at all the options that the Dragon Ball franchise has to choose from where it can go next. Obviously, there's the option that Akira Toriyama could very well provide new story and saga ideas that are then adapted into brand new episodes of Dragon Ball Super. But the more likely option is that the series will adapt one of three things: the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga of the Dragon Ball Super manga, the Prison Planet Saga of Super Dragon Ball Heroes, or reboots of other movie villains in the same way that Broly was revamped. The Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga is the most likely scenario of the three, since it takes place directly after Dragon Ball Super Broly in the manga, and is pretty much the closest thing we have to the mainstream next step in the Dragon Ball franchise. The Prison Planet Saga is also pretty likely, but it would have to be done after the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga. Lastly, while there's no implications that more movie villain reboots are in the works, we do think it would be a great way to continue Dragon Ball. Now, let's take a look at all these options in closer detail. So what exactly is the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga? Well, to explain that, we first have to explain how the Dragon Ball Super manga works. See, unlike Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super is not adapted from a manga by Akira Toriyama. Instead, the anime and the manga are both adapted from story beats and notes provided by Toriyama, both adapting these ideas as they see fit. As a result, the manga and the anime have the same sagas and similar story progression, but a number of details differ between the two. One of these major differences is that the manga didn't end after the Tournament of Power. It continued on with a saga developed by Akira Toriyama and Dragon Ball Super manga artist and writer Toya Toro. This is the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga, and it's actually pretty interesting thus far. Perhaps the most interesting part of this saga is how it connects back to the Buu saga. See, the story begins when the Galactic Patrol kidnaps Majin Buu, taking Goku and Vegeta along with them. They eventually reveal that Moro, an ancient, powerful villain, has escaped from the Galactic Patrol's prison, and they need the help of the Grand Supreme Kai that Buu absorbed centuries ago in order to stop him. How cool is that? This is a major callback to a piece of Dragon Ball lore that had been pretty much ignored after its introduction. And now it's a major plot point of one of the most interesting sagas in Dragon Ball history. It's not just this story element that makes the saga interesting. It also puts Goku and Vegeta in the role of temporary Galactic Patrol members. Making Goku and Vegeta space cops is a particularly cool concept to us, since they've been more or less doing the exact same duties as intergalactic cops by being the guardians of Universe 7, fighting off threats like Frieza, Cell, the androids, Majin Buu, and Zamasu. This is to say that it's interesting to see Dragon Ball lean a bit more towards the superhero-style narrative that it started to adopt aspects of in Dragon Ball Z. So after Moro escapes from prison, he seeks to restore his power, which means restoring his youth with the Namekian Dragon Balls, something that Goku and Vegeta plan to stop him from doing. Unfortunately, Goku, Vegeta, and the Galactic Patrol, and even Grand Supreme Kai manifesting through Majin Buu aren't enough to stop Moro, who eventually gains his youth and power back. Without enough power to stop him, Goku, Vegeta, and the others resign to train more so they can defeat Moro and save the universe from his evil reign. Vegeta trains with the Yardrats, the aliens that taught Goku instant transmission, and Goku trains with a character named Maris. Additionally, the other warriors of Earth begin to gather and prepare for the big battle, which is as far as the saga has gotten. So how would this fare as an anime saga? We think it would be pretty freaking great. The saga feels and plays out a lot like a Dragon Ball Z arc, which is pretty much the highest compliment we can give it. We'd be very satisfied if there were new episodes of Dragon Ball Super that adapted this saga, both because it's been rather interesting thus far and because a Dragon Ball anime adapting a Dragon Ball manga would be just like the old days. In short, the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga has a lot of adaptation potential, and we'd be thrilled if it's where the Dragon Ball Super anime and the franchise as a whole went next. Not to be confused with the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga, the Prison Planet Saga is the story arc featured in the Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime. For those who don't know, Super Dragon Ball Heroes is an online anime series that ties in with the Dragon Ball Heroes video game. Dragon Ball Heroes is an arcade game exclusive to Japan that is based around the usage of digital trading cards. The game was so popular that it got its own anime series, which created the Prison Planet Saga. This one takes place after the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga and depicts the return of future Trunks and Mai. The two come back to the present timeline in order for Trunks to train with Goku and Vegeta, only for Trunks to get kidnapped and taken to the prison planet. From there, Goku and Vegeta aim to get Trunks back and fight against the evil forces that took him in the first place. Some awesome highlights of this saga are the return of forgotten characters like Cooler, who now has a badass golden form like Frieza developed in Dragon Ball Super, Bojack, who fights Trunks in the manga version of the saga, and Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who the main timeline Goku faces off against. These aspects are tied to the alternate timeline aspects of the saga, as well as the Dragon Ball Heroes video game the anime was based off of. See, Dragon Ball Heroes centers around pitting different characters and sometimes alternate versions of characters against each other. Because of this aspect of the anime, the majority of the Prison Planet Saga would have to be reworked were it to be adapted into the main canon of the franchise. Additionally, since the Prison Planet Saga takes place after the events of the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga, the only way for this saga to make it into a potential Dragon Ball Super anime return would be for the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga to be adapted first. These are just some possible ideas for how to bring Super Dragon Ball Heroes Prison Planet Saga into Dragon Ball Super's potential return. But no matter how you put it, the concept has potential, and we'd love to see it get made into a new saga. Heck, it might even work as a film, since the heist-like narrative of rescuing Trunks works well for the runtime of a movie. No matter how it's done, the Prison Planet Saga is chock full of great ideas for an interesting saga for the possible return of Dragon Ball Super. Heck, with the whole alternate timeline aspect of the saga, you could still throw in some of the Goku vs. alternate Goku elements in there. But we'd be more than happy to see Prison Planet serve as the inspiration for an arc following a possible Galactic Patrol Prisoner anime saga. And it would be a great direction for the franchise. The third and final possible course for the Dragon Ball franchise to take next is continuing Broly's story and/or rebooting other movie villains and non-canon characters or storylines. Granted, this scenario is the least likely of them all, but we'd like to see it happen anyway, mostly because Dragon Ball Super Broly was so dang good and proved that reboots of older, forgotten movie and filler villains could work. Taking what was great about Broly and adjusting and rebooting what didn't made for some great results, and the process could easily be applied to other fan-favorite movie villains and non-canon storylines. For example, bringing Frieza's brother Cooler into the main canon of Dragon Ball would make for a fantastic next installment to the franchise. Cooler had a lot of potential, but having him out for revenge for the death of Frieza is kind of a weak storyline, one that doesn't work now that Frieza's been fully resurrected. So if Cooler got rebooted into a Dragon Ball Super movie, maybe he could be the black sheep of the King Cold family who defected to fight against his family. And with Frieza alive once again, he's out to stop him by any means necessary, which amounts to him not caring about the damage he causes on his mission to stop his brother. However it's done, there is clearly potential to bring back Cooler, and the same could be said of other non-canon villains like Janemba or the Shadow Dragons. Janemba could be created out of the overusage of the Dragon Balls to revive people, since his original creation was through corruption in Otherworld. And maybe his saga or movie could end with death in the Dragon Ball universe being a lot more permanent and meaningful. Or if the franchise wants to go in a different direction, it could reimagine the Shadow Dragons of Dragon Ball GT, which weren't executed all that well, but had the brilliant setup of the overuse of the Dragon Balls creating antagonists out of every wish granted on them throughout the course of the franchise. The Shadow Dragons would have to have some more appealing designs, and the rest of the saga would have to be seriously reworked in order for it to serve as a high-quality Dragon Ball Super saga or movie. But the potential's there. Heck, we'd argue that the Shadow Dragons are the best idea that Dragon Ball GT had. If these don't seem like viable options and Toei and Toriyama want to play things safe and just continue with more Broly, that's also a pretty great direction for the series, since the film left off with a lot of potential. Regardless of what they go with, one thing is clear. The Dragon Ball franchise has a lot of cool potential directions it can go from where it left off. If you ask us, we'd say that either continuing Broly's story or adapting the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga is probably the best way to go for the series. What about you? What direction do you hope the Dragon Ball franchise will go? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to CBR for more Dragon Ball videos. And hey, thanks for watching.